Are you a resident, a permanent resident in the United States with a green card, okay? And you want to file for your Pookie Bear, your spouse, or soon-to-be spouse? You want to watch this video until then. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you secure your legal status to live and work in America legally. So the reason why the status of the sponsor is important is because if you're a U.S. citizen filing for someone, then you don't need to worry about this visa bulletin. But so if you are a resident, you need to watch this, okay? So here, I'm on the uscis.gov website, and this will tell you family sponsored. It will show you which chart to follow. Now, the chart names are a little bit strange. They don't even put chart B, but this is essentially chart B, dates for filing chart, okay? And I'm gonna show you the next one. Then you go to this website, travel.state.gov. Really, you just Google search visa bulletin, and it should pop up the most recent. Right now, it's December 2024, and you'll want to see that right there or here on the bottom, okay? So you're following the most updated chart. Then you want to know which family preference category is it. And so if you're filing for your spouse or children, and when it says of, that means who is the sponsor, the status of the sponsor, okay? So that's F2A. That's one of the more common ones. Now remember what I mentioned on the uscis.gov website? You want to follow this chart. That's chart B. Okay, so right under chart B is this. So if you're not from China, India, Mexico, or Philippines, then you follow this one on the left column here. And it's F2A. These are all priority dates, okay? So priority dates for all of the countries are July 15th, 2024. And what does that really mean? Priority date is typically the same date as when you filed or the USCIS received your petition, the I-130. Consider your ticket in line for the visa. And when I mean visa, really the residency. It depends on the situation. So the main question that people have asked lately is, can I file for adjustment of status? That is a common phrase, a legal phrase for, can I file for residency while staying in the United States? Now, if you're abroad, then that's called consular processing. So let's go a little deeper into this. Some people asked, well, okay, my Pookie Bear is here in the United States, or he or she is about to be here. Can I file for adjustment of status? And generally speaking, when I think adjustment of status, I think of the main form, the 485. So no, you cannot. And here's why. Because we don't want you to file it and then waste your fees on the government fees, and you might get it denied. It'd be great if it'd be rejected, but sometimes the people get denied and said 1 or 2 years later say, you did not maintain your status, you overstayed, and you might be wondering like, oh, I thought so-and-so on TikTok said you can overstay your visa. And that's only if your sponsor is a U.S. citizen. And here is the law, the USCIS policy manual related to Chapter 8, inapplicability of bars to adjustment, shows this. For those, this is called immediate relative category, okay? So it's a very 3-category relationship. You can read it right up here. The most common is spouse who's a U.S. citizen, okay? And then, so here it says, this bar does not apply, okay, for people in these scenarios, okay? So you can see that here, but the main one here is failure to maintain status. It's okay. Essentially it's an automatic waiver. So again, back to that visa bulletin. If the sponsor is a resident, a permanent resident, yes, you could file the I-130, but no, you cannot file the other forms. Yes, physically you can mail it, but USCIS is either going to reject it within a month time, more or less, or they might hold it, accept your fees, and then you get denied 1 or 2 years later, and that's a waste of money and time. So if you want the most peace of mind, you know who to talk to. Follow here for more. But let's go in a little bit more deeply here. So if you filed the petition and then you're waiting to file the 485, you're like, well, it depends on the visa that you have. If you're on a B1, B2, or an ESTA, it expires. It's a very limited time. The max on a B1, B2 is 6 months, even if the customs officer actually provides you that amount of time, or they might actually reduce that amount of time. So I've heard people get 2 days, especially if they're crossing from Canada or entering from Canada, or they get like 3 months, reduced than what is normal per se. So the other thing is, so if you're on a non-immigrant visa other than B1, B2, maybe like a temporary work visa, O1, H1B, J1, then yes, it is possible to wait for that prior date to show up. So even though on the one I just shared with you a second ago, it showed July 2024, that is irrelevant because it's also waiting on your specific priority date. Go ahead and bookmark this, save it for the future because I jam-packed a lot of information, 20 minutes worth into 5 minutes. Follow for more.